Look, let's stay with local government elections, which are approaching and underway. We've been talking about these wonderful Nazi group out in Devonport, the Fresh Approach people, who have got rid of a Jewish candidate because, well, she was Jewish and they thought that was a bit of a risk. But there's another issue that I hadn't thought about as being a local body issue, because if you live in Wellington like I do, it is silly cycleways and sewage and pipes that don't work. I never thought that aged housing would be a local body election issue, but I read an interesting release from a group who are trying to make it like that, the Selwyn Foundation, who are calling on voters in Auckland, Wellington, and I think Christchurch to get local body candidates to make a number of commitments around aged housing. Now, I thought it was all done by Bupa and I don't know, some other group of private enterprise people who are ripping off the old. But no, councils do provide aged housing or housing for older people, rental housing often. How much, I wonder? Well, Denise Cosgrove, and I want to check, Denise, you are from the Selwyn Foundation, correct?
I am, but I'm speaking on behalf of the National Forum for the Decade of Healthy Aging.
Right.
So we're a collaboration, a cross-sector collaboration, government, private sector, NGOs, academics, about 30 organisations,
Cool.
focused on the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging.
Right. Okay. How much aged housing, are councils providing right now?
Well, councils do provide quite a lot. In Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, they still own quite a lot. So that would be about 1,500 in Auckland, about 2,000, I think, in Christchurch, and about 1,500 again in Wellington. So a reasonable amount of housing. And the reason we're focused on it is because the fastest growing demographic in our cities is older people.
Yeah.
And in less than 15 years, it'll be double in Auckland. And the number of older renters is equally going to double over the next 20 years. So affordable, accessible housing makes sense to our communities. We think this is the campaign with local government is a start. It's not just local government who can solve this issue. It is actually a bipartisan issue, really. We all want to age well in our communities.
What defines, though, aged housing compared with normal housing? Like a flat's a flat, isn't it?
Yeah, though only 5% of rental housing is actually accessible for older people. So you do need accommodations, and it's not just older people, but accommodations in the house so you can access the bathroom and the services, easily get into the house, not too many stairs, all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, as we age particularly, but also if you have a disability, people need different things around their homes to be able to access them.
Why is it up to councils to provide that? The vast majority
It's
of
not
aged
only
living is provided by the private sector. Might suggest they're better at doing it than councils.
Yeah, so only about 15% of landlords are even thinking about accessible rentals. And as I say, it's the fastest growing demographic. It's what we want to see is it's actually an opportunity. Council are uniquely positioned because they are direct providers, but they have planning and zoning powers. They also, are asset holders. They can free up land and they can actually galvanise community commitment, whether it's iwi, whether it's community housing providers and others, through things, for example, like inclusionary housing and developments, where you might have a proportion of those dedicated to senior social housing. So actually being able to activate more, councils are uniquely positioned. And but it's a collaboration. It needs to be a bipartisan issue. Everyone's in this together. Government, central government, local government, communities, community providers, not-for-profits, all sorts of people contribute to creating housing for older people.
All right. What is it that you're asking candidates in regards to housing for older people? What are the commitments you're asking candidates to make or for people? And look, I reckon it's a good idea because I know a lot of older people who do bother to vote in council elections. So there's a lot of self-interest going down here.